Let's go, people.
Oh, my guy, HD. What's up, boy?
It's a Friday, and when I tell you we literally could not have more going on, I mean that sincerely. Graz and J-Mac and Harry are here. Mike T is coming. Dan Orlovsky is coming. Fortenbaugh's here. We are loaded up today. We begin the only place we can, across the Hudson River, MetLife Stadium last night. Eagles and Giants. Giants figured to be exactly what the Eagles need to get right. Wrong. How about Jackson Dart? Down 3-0, first quarter. J-Mac, you were there, electrifying the crowd.
You can't get this guy on the ground. Did you see that move on Zach Ball? Jackson Dart electrifying the crowd last night.
Single-handedly breathing life into the organization. Harry, look at him keeping the play alive on the next drive.
Yeah, buy time. Keep your eyes downfield. You find a wide-open Wan'Dale Robinson, and just like that, whoop! Shout out to Chris Berman. Touchdown, Giants.
35-yard score, 13-3 after a missed extra point. It's 13-10 in the second quarter, and then came the tush-push portion of this game. They ran 4 consecutive tush-pushes. Yeah. I'm sorry, it's an abomination. I hope that wherever you went off and got yourself some food or whatever it is. Anyway, what we showed you was third down. Now here's fourth down. They're clearly jumped before the ball is snapped. No one cares. Brian Daboll's all upset about it. Next play is first and goal. That one is stopped short. Daboll's still yelling at everybody. 4th consecutive tush push. Yeah. They finally score a touchdown. Dan.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, push, Eagles, push. Anyway, 20-17 Giants at halftime. Third quarter, it's still 20-17, and then things start to get away. Devontae Smith, Harry is wide open.
This is a huge miss by Jalen Hurts. This is an opportunity in where this play, if it's completed, it's a walk-in touchdown, and it kind of changed the trajectory of this entire ball game. You've got to make this play if you're Jalen Hurts.
It did change the game, because if the first half belonged to Jackson Dart, Dan, who did the second half belong to? Skattebo. Look at him. That's Zach Bond, guys. All-pro linebacker that he just takes down Skattebo, and then the very next play, he takes it in, and no one celebrates quite like Cam Skattebo. By the way, watch Jackson Dart. He's looking for the call. He gets it. He high-fives the referee. Could the vibes be better for the Giants all of a sudden? They're up 27-17. 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Here's the ball game. Harry, what happens on this play?
It's cover 0. Jalen Hurts should retreat back a little bit and throw it to his wide-open wide receiver, but he leaves the football inside. It becomes an interception for Flott, and this is when the route begins.
This is the open receiver you're talking about. That's A.J. Brown. He of the books and the biblical verses, wide open in the middle of the field. Instead, it's Cordell Flott, 68 yards the other way. Jalen Hurts hadn't thrown an interception in his last 305 pass attempts. That streak comes to an end. And then finally, for the exclamation point, the Giants go to Skattebo! 19 carries, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. Look at him sticking the finish. Brian Daboll knows he's got something.
I love you,
And afterwards, Philadelphia, the fallout.
The execution isn't there. We get behind the chains. I get very predictable. At the end of the day, we got to be able to keep the defense guessing, not be predictable.
I don't get into it's predictable or pointing fingers. Like, I'm not going to. I think KP's doing a hell of a job, but we all got to be better, and that's just the truth. And if anybody else thinks anything different, they got to wake up.
I got to be better. Got to be better. I take ownership for it. A lot of autonomy, a lot of opportunity there with the ball in my hands, and given those situations, I have to be wiser and more detailed with it.
You had this meeting this past week with Saquon and Jalen. What was behind that?
I don't recall a meeting.
Oh, okay. The meeting never happened.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Those guys said it did happen.
Oh, well, you ain't talked to them.
You weren't in the meeting?
I don't recall.
Or you don't want to?
I don't recall.
Okay. So we got plenty of time to talk about this. Put your feet up, people. There's a lot to unpack here. So The Philadelphia Eagles in the last 5 days went from 4-0 and everything is fine to 4-2, and now we can't even get on the same page as to whether or not their three biggest offensive stars had a meeting. Dan, how do we explain this?
Well, everything was not fine.
Right.
They were 4-0. The offense was a mess, and we were talking about it and being told, but it's okay, they're 4-0. But there are serious issues to fix on this offense. Now, the question is, does this become 2023 when they started 10-1 and then fell apart at the end, never got the offense figured out? Or does this become 2024 where around this time last year, they were at a little bit of a slow start. They had this meeting with the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, who's now a head coach of the Saints. And the idea was, our offensive line's playing great. So let's just open some holes for Saquon Barkley and let him run 70 yards for a touchdown. Great plan. Problem is, now the offensive line's not playing great, and it's banged up, and Saquon's not playing like he was last year. So you have a team that doesn't have a great deal of confidence in its passing game, and there were some examples in those highlights as to why they might not.
Right.
And now they don't have any confidence in their run game either. So, unless you're going to just get 2.5 yards on every tush push and you can just keep getting first downs, I'm not sure what foundationally there is. They can adjust their scheme and they can figure some things out, but they don't really have a foundational identity for the offense right now, and that's why it's hard for me to see what the fix is.
Yeah, I mean, Deep Woods said it on Monday when I said, have the Eagles lost their identity? He said, you can't lose something you never had. This season, they haven't had one. You were right. Last year, it was obvious what it was. And this year, it looks like they're trying to do a variety of things. As I turn it to you, Harry, to ask you the question, I promised you a statistic that would show you it's even worse than you think. A17. The Philadelphia Eagles scored 0 points in the second half last night, which for them is sort of par for the course. These are their season-long numbers. They are dead last in points per drive, in scoring rate, and in punting rate in the second halves of games. Dead worst in the entire NFL. Harry, you played offense. You played on some really good offenses. This team should have a really good offense. They have a really good quarterback. They have two really good receivers. They have one of the best running backs we've ever seen, and they have an offensive line that, even if not playing at its level, is still above average at minimum. So why is this offense so bad?
Greeny, it's a variety of things. And number one, I'm going to say not committed to the run game. And we've seen that come up the last two ball games. Versus Denver, Saquon Barkley only has 6 rushes. Yesterday in the first half, he has 8 carries for 56 yards. He finished the game with 12 carries and 58 yards. They ran the football 15 times in the first half and 5 times in the second half. So that tells me you're not committed to the run. Now, I get it. You may have offensive linemen hurt here and there. But still, you have to be committed to the run game. That's the bread and butter when it comes to this football team. That allowed them to win last year. And I get it. It's not as I would say, positive as you would want it to be. Right. But you have to run the football. Secondly, if you want to beat the Philadelphia Eagles offensively, you have first and second down production on defense. The last 2 ball games, 7 of the 11 third downs versus Denver, guess what? 3rd and 7 or more. Yesterday, 6 of the 9 third downs, 7 yards or more. They struggle to pick up third downs when it's this down and distance, 3rd and 7 or more. So you don't allow them to get into that tush push phase where they can just do the tush push once on 3rd down, on 3rd and 3, and then again on 4th down if they don't pick it up on 3rd down. You're forcing Jalen Hurts to be back there in the pocket and become a passer, and he has not been good versus the blitz or pressure this season.
Yeah, it's to illustrate that point very quickly, I was watching the game with a bunch of viewers from ESPN Bet, and the first 2 plays of the game, Saquon, big gas run, 30 yards. He's going to go over. His over, I think, was 87.5, whatever it was. We were all like, oh, he's going way